In the dim glow of a candlelit chapel, where shadows danced like forgotten regrets on the ancient stone walls, Elena stood trembling at the altar, her white veil a fragile barrier against the world that had scarred her soul. The murmurs of the gathered guests faded into a distant hum as she clutched her bouquet so tightly that the thorns pricked her skin, drawing tiny beads of blood that mirrored the pain etched deep within her heart. For years, she had hidden behind masks of makeup and forced smiles, convinced that her disfigured face, ravaged by a childhood accident that left jagged scars twisting across her cheek and jaw, made her unworthy of love, a monster in a fairy tale meant for others. And now, on what should have been the happiest day of her life, shame washed over her like a tidal wave, compelling her to cover her face with her hands, the veil fluttering as silent sobs escaped her lips. If this opening has already tugged at your heartstrings and you believe in the power of kindness and second chances, please hit that like button, drop a comment sharing your thoughts, share this video with someone who needs a reminder of true love, and subscribe to Moments of Love for more stories that celebrate the beauty in our imperfections. Elena's life had been a tapestry woven with threads of isolation and quiet despair, beginning in the small coastal village where she grew up under the watchful eyes of a community that whispered pityingly about the poor scarred girl. As a child, the fire that engulfed her family's modest home had not only stolen her parents but also branded her with burns that twisted her features into something she learned to despise in every mirror's reflection. Schoolmates avoided her, their innocent cruelty carving deeper wounds than any flame could. Boys teased her mercilessly, calling her names that echoed in her nightmares, while girls formed circles that never included her. She found solace in books and the crashing waves of the sea, where the salt air seemed to cleanse her spirit, if only momentarily. By her teenage years, Elena had mastered the art of invisibility, wrapping herself in oversized clothes and long hair that curtained her face, dreaming of a world where beauty was measured by the heart rather than the skin. Yet, deep down, a flicker of hope persisted, fueled by stories of redemption she read under the covers at night, tales where flawed heroes found their place in the sun. Adulthood brought no immediate relief. Jobs came and went, with employers citing customer-facing concerns as polite excuses for their discomfort. Elena poured her energies into volunteer work at a local shelter for burn victims, where she connected with others who bore similar marks, their shared stories forming fragile bonds that slowly rebuilt her shattered confidence. It was there, amid the sterile scent of ointments and the soft hum of healing conversations, that she met Alex, a gentle architect volunteering his time to redesign the facility's garden into a sanctuary of blooming flowers and shaded paths. He wasn't like the others. His eyes, warm and hazel, looked past the scars to the woman beneath, engaging her in discussions about art, nature, and the quiet poetry of everyday life. Their conversations stretched from afternoons into evenings, evolving from polite exchanges to shared laughter over coffee, where Elena found herself forgetting, if only for moments, the veil of shame she wore like a second skin. But love, when it blossomed, brought its own storms. Elena's insecurities raged like tempests, whispering doubts that Alex's affection was born of pity rather than passion. She pushed him away time and again, canceling dates with flimsy excuses, retreating into her small apartment where walls lined with mirrors she had covered with cloth served as her fortress. Alex persisted, not with grand gestures but with quiet persistence. Notes slipped under her door recounting memories of their talks, small gifts like seashells from the beach where she had confided her dreams, and patient assurances that he saw her, truly saw her, beyond the physical. One evening, as rain pounded against the windows, he appeared at her doorstep, drenched and determined, his voice steady as he confessed that her strength, her kindness, had captured his heart long before he fully understood her pain. It was in that vulnerable moment, with tears mingling with raindrops on her scarred cheek, that Elena allowed herself to believe, tentatively stepping into the light of possibility. Their courtship unfolded like a delicate flower in spring, marked by walks along the shore where Elena gradually let her hair fall back, exposing her face to the wind and to Alex's unwavering gaze. He shared his own vulnerabilities, a childhood marked by loss, a father who abandoned him young, leaving him to navigate the world with a guarded heart. Together, they built a foundation on empathy, each scar, visible or hidden, becoming a bridge rather than a barrier. Yet, as wedding plans took shape, the weight of public scrutiny loomed like a gathering cloud. Elena's nightmares returned, vivid visions of guests staring in horror, of Alex recoiling at the altar when the veil lifted. She spent sleepless nights staring at bridal magazines, her fingers tracing the flawless faces of models, wondering if she could ever measure up. The dress fittings were ordeals, the seamstress's kind words doing little to quell the inner voice that screamed she was a fraud, unworthy of the white gown that symbolized purity and new beginnings. The day of the wedding dawned with a crisp autumn breeze, carrying the scent of fallen leaves and distant ocean salt, as if nature itself conspired to set the stage for transformation. Guests filled the chapel, a mix of Alex's boisterous family and Alina's few close friends from the shelter, their faces a blur through her veil as she walked the aisle on unsteady legs. Her heart pounded like a drum in a silent symphony, each step amplifying the chorus of doubts. What if he changes his mind? What if the scars are too much in the harsh light of commitment? At the altar, as the officiant began the vows, Alina's resolve crumbled. Shame, that old companion, surged forth, compelling her to raise her hands to her face, hiding behind the veil as tears soaked the fabric. The chapel fell into a hushed stillness, the air thick with unspoken tension, every eye fixed on the bride who seemed on the verge of shattering. In that suspended moment, Alex reached out, his touch gentle as a whisper, pulling the veil aside with care that spoke volumes of his love. His eyes met hers, not with shock or pity, but with a depth of adoration that pierced through her defenses. "You're beautiful," he murmured, his voice steady and filled with conviction, a declaration that echoed through the chapel like a balm on wounded souls. Time seemed to stretch, the world narrowing to just the two of them, as Alina's hands slowly lowered, her scars exposed yet somehow less burdensome under his gaze. The guests held their breath, witnessing not just a union but a profound act of acceptance, a reminder that true beauty blooms in the soil of unconditional love. From that pivotal instant, the ceremony flowed like a river finding its course, vows exchanged with trembling voices that carried the weight of hard-won truths. The reception that followed was a celebration laced with joy and quiet revelations. Guests approached Elena with stories of their own hidden struggles, inspired by her courage to stand unveiled. Alex and Elena danced under string lights, her head resting on his shoulder, the scars on her face no longer chains but badges of survival. In the years that followed, their life together became a testament to resilience, adopting children from similar backgrounds, expanding the shelter into a community center, and sharing their story in quiet ways that touched lives far beyond their village. Elena learned to look in mirrors without flinching, seeing not flaws but the map of a journey that led her to love. As the sun sets on this tale of shame transformed into strength, the veils lifted to reveal inner radiance, I hope it has stirred something deep within you, reminding us all that beauty lies in our vulnerabilities embraced. If this story has touched your heart, moved you to tears, or inspired you to see the world with kinder eyes, please like this video, leave a comment below sharing how it made you feel, share it with a friend who needs this message, and subscribe to Moments of Love for more heartfelt narratives. And before we end, here's a special request. In the comments, share the line, "You're beautiful just as you are," to spread a wave of positivity and remind someone today of their worth.